The Evil Within apparently has enemies with guns. I'm not kidding you. This is something that's been talked about for a couple of days now. A lot of people who've seen the demo at PAX East claim that there are enemies with guns. And when I first heard that, I was like, please tell me this is just something somebody just confused whatever like weapon the enemy was holding, because maybe it could have been like a pickaxe or something, or like some random item that may have looked like a gun because they only saw it for like a 2 seconds and couldn't make out what it was. But no, this is what a lot of people who have seen that demo have been claiming, is that there is enemies with guns in the game. Afterwards, I started thinking to myself, please tell me this is not Resident Evil 4 again. Despite Resident Evil 4 being a great game, I just don't want to see Resident Evil 4... I just don't want Resident Evil 4 to be copied and pasted over with a brand new title and brand new enemies. You know, I'm hoping that for the most part that the game still stays a survival horror, and I'm hoping that this might have been just something that they threw in there for the demo and it's not going to make it into the full game. Right now it's kind of too early to say whether or not that if it will make it in the full game or not, but it is something to keep note of. And I just wanted to throw out the possibility that these enemies might only be very rare and they might not show up as often as they did in the demo that was apparently shown off to journalists. You know, like I said, I don't know, it's too early to say, but that is always a possibility that they're just a rare type of enemy that you may encounter. Now moving on to Capcom supposedly announcing Resident Evil 7 during E3. Now, I did mention in a previous video that there's a rumor going around that they would be announcing Onimusha and Dino Crisis, or 2 reboots. Specifically, those would be 2 reboots. And I don't think that's really going to happen. I mean, it's unlikely, although I would like it for it to happen. Resident Evil 7 seems a little more plausible, since they did say they wanted to make annual releases for certain games like Resident Evil. So it's always a possibility. Now, I'm not really looking forward to Resident Evil 7 just because these past few Resident Evil games have not really been that great, and they've only been decent games, you know, but they weren't like good Resident Evil games, as I've said before in one of my previous videos. I think what they should do, make it a little more like Leon's campaign from 6. Make it like where you're by yourself, much like in Ada's campaign, but also take in a lot of elements from previous games, specifically the first 3 and Code Veronica, and there are a couple of others that were good. If you can make Resident Evil 7 a little more like that, I think you might have me on board, possibly, maybe. I have to see, and maybe I'll rent the game like I did with Resident Evil 6. I rented the game before I even actually bought it for like 15 bucks. So anyways, that's a topic for another day. I might do another video on it in the future. I don't know. I'll see. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about Resident Evil 7. And I guess I'll end this video here.
Hurry! This way!
Oh, Barry!
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.